Hi, this is Ayman Fath and Manos Brilakis, presenting case 206 for the Manual of Percutaneous Coronary Interventions. This is a case of a routine non-ST elevation myocardial infarction that posed some procedural challenges. Before we start, a quick reminder regarding the coronary CT for PCI Academy. As we have seen in many of the cases posted in our channel, we do coronary CT in the vast majority of CTOs and other complex PCIs, and this is a hands-on course before ACC in New Orleans in March 2026, Thursday and Friday, providing hands-on training on how to actually use CT for planning PCI. Back to our case, the patient was a 76-year-old gentleman, non-ST elevation myocardial infarction, no previous coronary disease. Angiography of the left system shows no significant lesions in the LAD and the circumflex. However, the right coronary artery has a significant lesion in the ostium as well as in the mid-vessel. The mid lesion is actually hidden behind an acute marginal branch, but it was a very severe lesion. The plan is to perform PCI on those two lesions. We're doing this through a right radial approach. How should we engage this? Do we use a JR or should we use an AL1? For ostial lesions, the AL can create some issues with engagement and disengagement, but it provides strong support. And given the significant calcification, we decided to use an AL1 7 French Guideliner Coast. We did have some difficulties in wiring. The guide wire kept on going into an acute marginal branch, and we could not cross the mid-RCA lesion with the workhorse guide wire. It was very, very severe. So what I ended up doing is cut a microcatheter. This is a fine cross M3. This is a Sion black guide wire, and eventually we were able to advance to the distal right coronary artery. So microcatheter and polymer jacketed wire may be needed to wire severe calcified lesions. We then tried to predilate the lesions, and we could deliver the balloon to the mid-right coronary artery. However, every time we tried to balloon the proximal, there was balloon rupture. That happened 3 times. This is the first one with the same 2.5 millimeter balloon. And this happened with 2 other balloons. One of them was a Scoreflex 3.0. It was fine in the mid. However, in the proximal right coronary artery, once again, it is inflated and then the balloon ruptures. So clearly there's some eccentric calcium that is puncturing the balloons. The question is, should we now use some atherectomies? What should we do for this ostial lesion? But before doing that, we decided to use a non-compliant balloon. The previous ones were compliant. And this time, the non-compliant balloon successfully expanded without having rupture. And this is an example that sometimes non-compliant balloons might do the job for modifying the lesion. After the predilatation, here's an injection. And we now have 2 problems. One is we have an aorto-coronary dissection. You can see the contrast staining into the wall, into the coronary cusp. And also we have a problem in the mid-right coronary artery. At the time, we weren't sure, is this a perforation, is it a dissection, what is this? But this is a problem because when you have an aorto-coronary dissection, you should not inject anymore because you're going to enlarge it. At the same time, if this is a perforation, we need to know if we've sealed the perforation or not and take action. So that was a stressful moment over here. What to do next? And this is why likely this occurred. This is the pressure waveform. We see the blood pressure is 110, but then we have a sudden drop down to the 80s. So this is dampening of the blood pressure. This is where the injection happened. We see there's still dampening afterwards until we release the guide. And this is the issue with the Amplatz guide, that it's hard to engage and disengage and can engage deep and predispose to dissections. And this is probably why this happened. There was an injection while there was pressure dampening from the Amplatz guide. So at this point, we did not want to inject anymore. At the same time, we wanted to treat initially the mid-right coronary lesion. We could not deliver a stent because of the calcium, so we used a 6 French Guideliner Coast inch-worm down to the mid-right coronary, and then we delivered a 3.5 by 26 millimeter drug-eluting stent. So fortunately, this was a dissection. It was not a perforation, and this looks better. And now, because of the guide extension, we can inject into the coronary and see what is going on without pressurizing the proximal right coronary artery. So this is partially disengaged, but the contrast is coming out mainly from the tip of the guide extension. This was postdilated. And then we placed an additional drug-eluting stent in the proximal right coronary. And this is where the independent hand technique can be very useful. The ampullates is very difficult to get in and out, unlike the JR4. But we're glad we used the ampullates here, because otherwise it would have been very hard or impossible to deliver into the mid-right coronary artery. So good expansion on the proximal right. And we did a picture at the end, and we do have a nice result. TIMI3 flow into the right coronary artery and flow back into the aorta. This is intravascular ultrasound, and we do have decent stent expansion. It's not perfect, but for heavily calcified lesions, perfect can be the enemy of the good. We do have a good enough expansion of the stent, both the mid and the proximal right coronary artery. Few lessons from this case. The first one is that there is no such thing as routine cases. Any case can result in challenges as well as complications. Second, when trying to wire a very severe, heavily calcified lesion, sometime one may have to use a microcatheter and a polymer jacketed guide wire, fine cross M3 here, as well as Sion black. Number 3, regarding guide selection. Ampullates is not the best for ostial lesions, but here we had an ostial and a mid lesion, and the ampullates did give us good support for delivery. The issue with the ampullates, it's harder to get in and out, and you can dive deep and contribute to dissection. And sure enough, we did have an aorto-coronary dissection here. The challenge was we were not sure if it was a perforation in the mid, an aorto-coronary dissection, but it turned out after stenting the mid-right coronary artery using a guide extension that the mid was a dissection that was successfully tucked up with a drug-eluting stent. Thank you.